Good evening and welcome back to Etown News. I'm Phillip.
And I'm Will Veith. Etown Does Pride, 47th Annual Student Awards Ceremony, and more coming up after this.
Whether you're on the go or taking a break, the Etownian has you covered. Pick up a paper on campus or read online at etownian.com.
This past Tuesday, Etown's Pride festivities kicked off, commencing a month-long celebration of the LGBTQ members of the Etown campus. One of the first events of the month, Campus Queens, is back tomorrow at 8 p.m. in the Gibble Auditorium. This high-energy show will be hosted by Betty and Lizzie and feature Enigma, Sarabesque, and Villery Hole. Be sure to arrive early to take photos. Then, on Monday, April 7th, the Mosaic House will host a tie-dye event. Bring a white t-shirt or grab a GSA shirt while supplies last. Let your creativity flow.
Last Friday, Elizabethtown College celebrated its annual Spring Day of Service by making care packages for local residents in need. ECTV's Sal Salomone has the story.
Hundreds of students gathered in the Thompson Gymnasium last Friday for Elizabethtown's Spring Day of Service. The event was put on by the Center for Community and Civic Engagement, who teamed up with local organizations. The Bethesda Mission nonprofit had Blue Jays filling care bags stocked with essentials like hand sanitizer, candy, toothbrushes, and soap. Students also made sure that those in need can stay clean by filling up shampoo containers. It's a long day with a lot of hard work, but the director of the Center for Community and Civic Engagement, Javita Thompson, believes that it's worth it.
My favorite part of this event is seeing so many people come together to do a service. We have almost 300 people who signed up to participate. How hard is it to get 300 people to do anything? But this is exciting because every year that we do it, we get nearly 300 folks in a space doing service for a good cause. Students, as well as the community, are really excited to be able to give back to the community. We recognize how much we have and how important it is for us to live out our motto of educate for service.
Etown's all-female a cappella group, Melika, invites you to their spring show April 5th at 6 p.m. in the Cave. Admission will be $5 for students and $8 for visitors. Join Melika to hear the beautiful music the group has been working on this year and celebrate the graduating seniors.
Join Elizabethtown College in recognizing students for their achievements and accomplishments during this academic year. The Student Awards ceremony will take place Wednesday, April 9th at 6 p.m. in the Gibble Auditorium. Support your fellow Blue Jays who are receiving recognition for various programs and organizations on campus. All students, staff, faculty, and family are invited to attend the event, which will be followed by a dessert reception.
Etown's own Curtis Smith is celebrating the release of his 7th novel, and you're invited to join in on the fun. The Assistant Director of Academic Advising will be reading an excerpt from his upcoming novel, Death Heaven, for interested students. Smith has published over 125 books and short stories, along with 5 story collections. The special event takes place on April 14th from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Bowers Writers House. Now, here's Gwyneth Young with your weekly sports update.
Thanks, Phillip. Men's volleyball led Blue Jay Athletics into a week of wins. The team finished out the season with a bang, defeating Lehman on Saturday and Penn State Schuylkill on Wednesday night. Saturday's game saw a final score of 3-1, with first-years Aaron Gopinath and Declan Keller having 17 and 16 kills. In Wednesday's game, senior Ethan Scott led with 9 kills, closely followed by seniors Ben Robbins and Trey Whedon with 7. The Blue Jays prevailed in a final score of 3-0. Women's tennis took home a 4-3 win on Saturday against King's College. Katie Palzano and Adriana Burmeister, as well as Taylor Dukes and Hannah Walker, won in doubles, with the latter two also taking home singles wins, along with Emily Flynn. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays posted losses across the board against Moravian the next day, ultimately losing 7-0. Men's tennis also had some luck against Kings on Saturday with a 7-0 win. Austin Kohler and Isaac Reichenbach, along with Ryan Krajcik and Sam Langer, prevailed in the doubles, while all 6 singles matches were won by Blue Jays. The men's team was defeated by Moravian as well, with a 2-5 loss on Sunday. Stefanos Billis and Max Lauver won in their doubles games, with Billis and Langer taking home wins in the singles. Both the men's and women's tennis teams will face Drew tomorrow in Scranton on Sunday. Both men's and women's lacrosse had a rough week. The women's team suffered a tough loss on Saturday, March 29th against Lycoming. After remaining tied in the first 2 periods, the Blue Jays struggled to keep up with the Warriors in the 3rd and 4th, ultimately falling 21-16. The men's team began with a close loss earlier in the week against Stevenson University, 12-13, but made up for it with a blowout win against Juniata on Wednesday. The Blue Jays scored 25 to the Eagles 2, with sophomore Tristan Coleman leading the pack, scoring 6 goals. Both men's and women's lacrosse will play again on Saturday against Drew. In baseball, the Blue Jays moved to 11-10 with 2 losses and 1 win this week. Both losses came on March 29th in a doubleheader against Salisbury. The Blue Jays defeated Catholic with a score of 5-1 on Wednesday, though, after scoring in the first and second innings on a wild pitch and a groundout. Sophomore Tommy Kanakis secured the win with a 3 RBI double in the 7th. The team will play again on Saturday in a doubleheader against Lycoming at home. In professional sports, the first week of Major League Baseball has the Yankees making headlines for using a new model of bat called a torpedo. These bats shift some mass into areas where hitters are more likely to make contact. While the premise seems like it would be against the rules, it is actually legal. As the season goes on, we'll see if this is just a fad or if the torpedo bat is going to stick around. The Padres and reigning champions, the Dodgers, are leading the National League West and the rest of the MLB with a 7-0 record to start the season. This is the first time since divisional play began in 1969 that two teams in the same division have made it to 7-0. March Madness is getting close to its conclusion as the Final Four was set this week. For the men, Auburn will play Florida at 6:09 p.m. and Duke will play Houston at 8:49 p.m. tomorrow. Following the result of those games, the national championship will take place on Monday, April 7th. For the women, Texas will play South Carolina at 7 p.m. and UConn will play UCLA at 9:30 p.m. tonight. The winners will face off on Sunday, April 6th at 3 p.m. for the national championship. That's all for your sports this week. Now here's Layla Murphy with your weekly weather report.
Thanks, Gwen. Welcome to the Weekly Weather Watch, where we cover the weather once a week, rain or shine. I'm your host, Layla Murphy. Today, Friday the 4th, is sunny, but we'll see some rain. We'll have a high of 62 and a low of 49. Saturday will also be sunny with some rain, but there will be a high of 45, 55, and a low of 51. Sunday will be cloudy and rainy with a high of 55 and a low of 36. On Monday, the sun will come out, but it will be mostly cloudy. We'll see a high of 44 and a low of 35. Tuesday will be partly cloudy and windy. We'll have a high of 41 and a low of 27. Wednesday will be mostly sunny, and there will be a high of 48 and a low of 31. Finally, Thursday, we'll have some sun and clouds. Temperatures will peak at a high of 54 and hit a low of 39. Thanks for tuning into the Weekly Weather Watch. I'm Layla Murphy. See you next week. Now back to Phillip and Will in the studio.
A Wisconsin state Supreme Court election on Tuesday has proved how invested Americans are in elections right now. The state saw a higher voter turnout in every single county, for an increase of almost 1 million votes since the last state Supreme Court election in 2023. Susan Crawford came out victorious over Brad Schimel with 55% of the vote compared to his 45%. This win by the Liberal Crawford maintains a Liberal majority heading into several influential decisions. The win may also represent how Americans are feeling about government downsizing, as Elon Musk devoted tens of millions of dollars to supporting Schimel. As a result of Musk's backing of Donald Trump, Tesla's first quarter deliveries declined much more than expected. 336,681 electric vehicles delivered in a 13% decrease from this time last year in addition, Tesla sales in Europe are declining rapidly, giving advantages to other producers of electric vehicles. The date given by Donald Trump for ByteDance to sell social media app TikTok has arrived. The Trump administration is looking at a deal which would allow a new U.S. entry under tech company Oracle to lease the app's algorithm from ByteDance. It would be a simple transition, as Oracle already provides back-end technology for the app, and ByteDance is expected to keep a minority stake.
Hollywood icon Val Kilmer tragically passed away on Tuesday after battling pneumonia. The 65-year-old actor was best known for his roles in Top Gun, True Romance, Heat, and Batman Forever. He was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014, which permanently impacted his voice and ability to speak. His life story was shown in the 2021 documentary Val, exploring the highs and lows of the actor's life. He leaves behind his 2 children, Jack and Mercedes. Country star Morgan Wallen raised everyone's eyebrows after his abrupt exit on the most recent episode of SNL. During the closing segment, Morgan skipped the traditional embrace of the cast members and elected to rush off stage before leaving New York. He added more speculation that something was wrong after posting a picture to his Instagram story with the caption, "Get me to God's country." It's unknown whether or not there will be tension with the singer, but it's unlikely that he'll be returning to the studio at any time soon. And lastly, Sydney Sweeney and Jonathan Davino have called off their engagement after spending over 6 years together. They got engaged in 2022, but were unable to finalize the plans for their wedding. Rumors have spread that Sweeney is now involved with her Anyone But You co-star, Glenn Powell, after being seen at his sister's wedding. The 27-year-old is believed to be focusing on her career at the moment rather than her love life.
That's all for this week, Jays. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at ECTV40 for all the latest updates on our shows. I'm Will Veith.
And I'm Phil Patches. Have a great week, and remember to take flight, Etown.